Well, hello everyone. I hope most of you are staying warm. I believe about 30 of the 50 states are currently under lower than below temperatures. If you are currently looking for the tax season solved on-demand accounting talent when you need it webinar from Unison Globus, you have come to the right place. My name is Sean Morden. I am part of the customer success team here at Unison Globus. And this lovely lady that is here with me is Julie Banez, who leads our customer relationship and success team here in the US. So we are excited that you have all joined us. We'll give everyone just a few minutes before we begin our session. And Julie, how are you doing today?
Well, things are warming up. I think we might be at a total of 9 degrees. Here in Wisconsin, we have really hit our temperatures low. Last week, Friday, I think we had a -40 wind chill factor, which means that it probably was -19 as temperature. So in Wisconsin, they'll say we're used to it, but I don't know. Do you ever really get used to this? How about down by you in
Well,
Chicago?
yeah, no, I mean we're much balmier here. We maybe we're warmer by a few temperature, few degrees, but we're making it work and looking forward. I think we're less than 40 days to St. Patrick's Day, and then that usually tends to be the start of spring, I guess, in our calendars here. So looking forward to that.
Just smart to be thinking about the next holiday. Good for you.
Well, and I think that gives us a good leadway. So, as we are looking forward here and thinking about months ahead, there is obviously one big part in our industry that is coming up, which is tax season. So, I think where we really wanted to take time, usually we do these webinars and we have different thought leaders throughout the the industry speak on their experiences, talk about how they've built their different careers in different companies. But today, what we thought would be interesting to our base could be just hearing what we're hearing out there in the industry. And so, Julie, I would like just to start by, and I'm happy to share as well some of the things that I've been hearing, but just first off, what are you seeing in the marketplace right now in regards to some of the trends and what are some of the things that seem to be most important to individuals that are meeting with us right now, whether clients or prospects?
I think that's a great question, Sean. And let's face it, there's so much going on within the tax audit and accounting profession right now at warp speed. It used to be that we were having conversations about cloud accounting. Now we're having conversations about AI. But the fact of the matter is that there's one thing that is not changing, and that is the talent, the challenge that we have with a talent shortage. And that's one of the reasons that I moved away from a very large tax audit and accounting software organization a few years ago to take on this challenge with talent. We thought it was going to be productivity and efficiency with software. Well, certainly that helps. But no, the number one most critical business issue is still talent and finding talent and having stability. So, Sean, when I'm out there talking to our firms all across the country, we're hearing the same themes. We're hearing firms talk about the challenges that they're having with staff, the consistency, the upskilling of staff so that we can get them out of compliance and into advisory and planning, being more relevant to the client, being more relevant, meaning to the taxpayer. I think the level of sophistication has also increased within the taxpayers across the country. Let's face it, since COVID, I think the first year out of COVID, we had 5 million new businesses. 5 million
Hmm.
new businesses. Those are businesses that need support. And that is an old stat. So I think that number grew by 67% in 2025, but I haven't taken a look as to how we're starting the year off now. So I'm hearing that there's an abundance of work. There's an abundance of client. They don't want to turn clients away. Well, let's face it. They don't want to turn the right clients away. And they need help and support with that. And they also need help elevating their onshore team, their their talent that they have that they want to grow, their succession plan. So that's why one of the reasons at Unison Globus that I've been involved with for over 2 years now is we're trying to be more relevant to the client. And that is to the CPA firms, the EA firms, the accounting firms. How can we be more relevant to them so that they can really provide a superstar experience for their client? So those are some of the things that I'm hearing within the industry. How about you, Sean?
Yeah, I think very similar. It still continues to be the search for not just talent, but the right talent and the right skill set to be able to help. Also, one of the things that happened after COVID was really this idea of job hopping, and I think sometimes that has been troublesome within this industry, finding onshore talent and then our US talent and having someone be with the firm, get trained, and then take off. How do you prepare yourself before tax season? And just speaking a little bit about going on with just when we were working together. So I was part of Julie's team at this tax software company. We were walking into companies that had servers on site and were demanding people coming into the office to work. And what at the time was being pitched was cloud technology will solve this. I think where, and we'll touch on that later, is where we're hearing technology is going to solve the talent problem again with AI, and we'll come back to that. But yeah, I think that it's just remains the same concerns. Am I going to have the right amount of staff for this tax season? And what is it, what how much can I handle and do I want to expand? Do I want to get rid of clients? So it's really kind of the way that it's been working. So what are you seeing outside of that with just the risks of traditional staffing models today? So we're hearing a lot of people wanting to just focus and not really expand sometimes in the conversations that we have with virtual teams, regardless of who you're working with. But what has been, in your experience, some of the risks associated to not being open to potentially a virtual team in in India or wherever it may be?
Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is that we have a significant challenge here in the United States. And I really believe that our larger organizations, meaning our AICPA, the state associations, they're trying really hard at a grassroots effort to try to help with that shortage. But the fact of the matter is that there still is going to be that learning curve. When you think of resources across the globe, there is an abundance of talent out there. It might not be right in the office, but it might be globally. And with the acceptance of virtual teams, I think more and more firms are opening up. The challenge when they're not is that, of course, they are limiting their look within the firm, they're limiting their scope, and they're limiting their succession plan. And I think that's really challenging. I think everyone on the phone here, I mean, there are a bunch of great accountants and a lot of them went into the business because they like to help people. But it's a
Mhm.
challenge if they don't have enough resources. How can they really help people? We also have to look at the cost and the expense associated with hiring talent. It can be a lot to have a fully burdened employee that might not be as flexible as we would like because of other demands within their life. And that's really why we're here today. We want to talk about what Unison Globus is doing. We made a bold move. We made a really bold move, and that bold move is to offer an engagement model that no other offshore staffing company is offering. And for good reason. It's hard to manage this. We have the capacity and we have the bandwidth to do that, but we are introducing an on-demand model, which will allow our firms, we'll be able to meet our firms where they're at. Many firms will try to hire interns or seasonal help. That's great, and we still want them to do that. But sometimes they need a higher level resource that can help bring in the excuse me, that can
Mhm.
help with the training of these resources. Let's face it, anytime we can get a question answered earlier in the process by a seasoned employee or a seasoned resource is going to be more beneficial to the firm.
Mhm. No, and I think one of the things that we also always come across is just couple of things. How does this all work, right? Like how does this world that we're in work?
Mhm.
And what's the expertise of the individuals that we have? One of the things that I always like to discuss is when, say, for instance, a firm is wanting to hire someone that is working from a home office and they're really on their own island, that resource has to be able to try to find if someone is stuck in a problem, that creates a problem, that creates a bottleneck, and that means that finding the answers could be challenging. So I think how does our on-demand staffing really work? And where are some of the advantages to it? Like, for instance, we have large work areas in India which allows for communal knowledge, and when someone does get stuck, it is something where you can lean on your patrons to be able to help you. But not to go too far on that, could you explain a little bit about the on-demand model for maybe some of those that are on the call that may have not seen it or maybe not understand what we're providing?
Absolutely. And let's back up even a little bit further. There might be individuals on the call or firms on the call that have never tried offshore staffing because
Very
there
true.
was no one there to bridge the gap. And I will, as you know, Sean, you know my story. When I left that very large tax audit and accounting software organization, I vetted out 7 different companies, offshore companies that were even vettable. And thinking about it, coming from my technology background, check, 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 the table stakes were those about around security and minimizing risk. So when I chose Unison Globus, it was because I found a company that certainly was on top of their game with security, with risk, but more than anything, they wanted to be relevant to the US market. They wanted to be able to train their individuals to be ready and available to work. So we've been getting lots and lots of business from these US firms, and we love it because obviously we're here to advocate on behalf of our US firms. But one of the areas that I find so very, very important is we will hear from firms, I don't need the staff all year round. And so many of these offshore staffing companies want you to sign a long-term contract. 12 months. Well, sure, we have that for dedicated resources as well. But again, wanting to meet our clients where they're at, they might need temporary seasonal help. So why not take some of our top tier talent and be able to deploy it on a short-term basis? It also gives these firms that maybe have not had an opportunity to vet out or to try offshore staffing, it gives them a no risk situation. And I think that's really, really important. We have a variety of different engagement models, but all of them don't have to be with long-term contracts. And even if you do have a 12-month contract with us, we always have our out clause, but also more than anything, we want to make sure that everyone's happy and we will replace any candidates that may require. Thankfully, we haven't had that situation in a long, long time. So let's talk a little bit about the on-demand. The on-demand is set up for our firms specifically that are dealing with compression, whether it's tax season for, obviously we're right here in tax season, whether it's this tax season or maybe it's a little bit now and a little bit during the extension season. Maybe it's that they need support for cleanup projects for accounting. We have engagement models that will help with that as well. So the on-demand is really meeting the firm where they are right now. Let's face it, twists and turns happen in life. Maybe, just maybe, like the call I got last Friday, an employee has left, or an employee had to go care for their elderly parent that was needing support. Things are going to happen. And in our organization, we always want a backup plan. So even if you're working with us, whether it's just a short on demand or whether you're working with us long term, we provide a structure. We provide a structure for every employee that is hired from our organization. And let me point out, every employee is just that. They are an employee of ours. We don't deal with any contractors, only employees. And that's because we want to have the value system and the quality and the security. But anyway, when you hire somebody from us, whether it's short term or long term, they come with a team leader and they come with a manager. We want to pull that human capital burden away from our firms. If somebody's going to leave our organization, that's our problem, and we've got our backup plan already for you. You don't have to waste another moment thinking about it. And I think that's really, really important. So the on demand is very flexible. We also allow all of our clients to be able to interview their resource. We don't just assign a resource, we also know that the personality has to be a fit. Whether it's short term or long term, we've got a solution to help our firms. And that's what I would love to be in a position where our firms are thinking about, oh my gosh, I got this call today, or better yet, I want to stop saying no to the right clients. I want them to be thinking about us, give us a call, and we'll build out this team that will help support their business to success.
Yeah.
It unnerves me when I hear firms say that I had to turn away this great client. I'm like, you never have to say that again.
And I just want to also say, and maybe we could address this on a larger scale as well as some of the objections as to why people aren't using offshoring today, and some of the things that we hear commonly. But what I like about the on-demand model, similar to when we were working in technology, it allows for you to absorb this new idea in smaller segments so that you can get used to it and be able to evolve based on your comfortability as a business owner and not have to go full throttle.
You bet.
I think sometimes whenever trying to adapt to something new, it just is helpful to be able to do it in small steps. I've been watching my mother-in-law play pickleball and seeing the evolution of how it's gone from just some small lessons to now her running a whole pickleball league. And so I think that's just the way that when explaining how this concept works and how this evolves, I think the on-demand model is perfectly great for someone that maybe has been waiting to do something like this, but hasn't had the opportunity.
Another objection that I hear is we don't want to change our processes. We don't want to change our systems. And I think so many people don't understand we're working within their processes. We're working within their system. So it would be just like bringing an employee on, in this case, a seasoned, experienced, well-versed employee, and putting them in your system. And because we are completely agnostic, we have experience with all kinds of softwares
Mhm.
and tax software, accounting software, audit software. And so we are working right in their processes with their firm members. And I think that's really, really important. So when you think about onboarding, I mean, let's face it, is today the 27th of
Hmm.
January? We're
Yeah.
right here. So if somebody
Mhm.
were to want to bring on a short-term staff, we can get them set up within 24 to 48 hours. The only slower part might be the interview. If they agreed and they have interview the
Mhm.
candidate and the candidate's ready to go, we will get them set up within 24 hours. That's how easy it is, and that's how adept we are to make this as painless as possible.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I guess the other part of it, as we're talking about systems and processes and some of those things, and you kind of mentioned the interview process. When someone is coming to us and they are recognizing that something in their firm needs to be addressed from a talent perspective, what is usually the process, just so everyone understands that might be interested in the way that uh, from beginning to end how this works in regards to the first call to finding someone.
Yeah, so let's face it, you and I, Sean, have quite a bit of experience within the profession. The first thing that we
Mhm.
want to know is really what's happening at the firm. What are the concerns that they have? What are the goals that they have, the ambitions that they have? What are they trying to strive for? I use an example of another firm that they could not find a tax manager. And that tax manager, they wanted to be onshore in their physical location. Totally understand that. Guess what we did? We worked with them to understand their environment, to understand who they had, and they had a CFO that was dying to be a tax manager. I mean, it was just like that was their sweet spot. And what we did then is we helped them move that CFO into the tax manager role, and then we took on a fractional CFO position with them. So I think you can be really creative. It's don't just tell me I need help with tax preparation and review. Tell me about your business. Tell me what your goals are, your aspirations, so that we can dive in there and potentially give you recommendations that maybe you haven't thought of. Now, we have a lot of really talented business owners, right? They're thinking every day how they can get out of the compression, how they can get themselves out of the compliance work. so they can be more relevant to their clients, so that they can really enhance their success and do the advisory and the planning that those very sophisticated clients are demanding these days. They might have their own solution and just be looking for someone that they can trust. And that's where I really value the relationship that we're bringing to the market is we're here, we're onshore, we have extensive backgrounds within the profession and technology, and we can be able to guide our firms. It doesn't have to be an all in. It can be a, I'm just putting my toe in the water to try it out. And that's fine with us because what we're looking for is that long-term partner relationship. We just don't want to be able to plug the holes. We want to be able to blow it up and enhance the overall environment so that you're really hitting on all cylinders and hitting the goals that the firm wants.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on it, what I always enjoy about what we do is after we do have the initial phone call and understand or meeting, understand what's really the big part of the business that they're trying to solve. And if there are individuals from our side that we can align to someone, being able to share the profiles of these individuals within 24 hours of that first call and allow for a review and then have an interview scheduled with the individuals, whether it be two or three, and then be able to allow for that interview process to happen and then make a selection. And then we could be up and running within truly, if we have a call on Monday, by that Friday, we could be already taking on work, working within your
Mhm.
systems and understanding your process. So very exciting times and truly excited. With 8 minutes left, just want to address AI because I think a lot of people think that AI is the solver here, and that if they are going to wait for AI to happen, what is the big miss here that you're seeing within if you think that AI is going to solve this talent gap right away and waiting, where do you think that could be challenging to a firm or just within your experience, what are you seeing with AI and how it's getting
Yeah.
incorporated with offshore?
So human discernment, I believe, is always going to be very, very important. And
Mhm.
I'll let everybody in on a secret. There's not a week that goes by that I don't get a call from an AI company that is looking for help. Their software can do only so much. And they're asking us to be that back end, that human knowledge, that human discernment. And let's not sugarcoat this. We too have created our own AI, for example, our own AI tax prep, our own AI CRMs within our system. We're very innovative at Unison Globus. But the fact of the matter is that there's got to be a nice relationship between AI and the human. And so as a result, what we've been focusing on during our downtime at Unison Globus is making sure that we are upskilling all of our talent. They are AI ready talent. There's a number of different AI softwares out there. Our team is exposed to them and they can blend right in to any firm's process. And so there's some firms that are going full in and they're ready to take on, let's talk just tax, an AI tax prep. And the challenge that I think we might run into is the proof is in the pudding. We still need a very solid review on that. And I'm hoping that it does enhance the process rather than detract. Because no, everybody knows we want to be able to review the work and hopefully the work is just a check, check, and we're off instead of having to go back and redo the work. But this year is going to be a very important year for a lot of the new AI tax softwares that are out there. And we'll get a year under our belt and we'll see how we're doing. I commend firms that are starting down the AI path. I commend them. There's a lot, and I feel like our firms have been running very quickly to try to get caught up with all of the technology within firms these days. Remember AI, or excuse me, cloud? It was so far away. And then the big threat, if you're not on cloud accounting yet or cloud software, get ready because you're way behind. Well, we got them caught up to cloud software and now they're running again to AI. And I want them to be comfortable and know that the talent that you get from us is AI ready. We have been training our teams to be able to support our firms no matter where they are. And again, that's the big theme. How do we help them? How do we meet them where they are right now to take care of them where they are right now, but also to be able to elevate their overall success? It's been a lot of fun.
Mhm. No, it's an interesting time. I think it's very similar to when I started in technology with a company called Yahoo at the .com era, where there was maybe a .com after every single word you could think of, pets.com, school.com. Every company was going to be the next big and greatest thing, and then eventually it kind of sifted to just what are the ones that you know by now. I think AI
Mhm.
is really kind of in that .com era. I think that there's a lot of offerings. It's one of those things though where you still need human discernment to be able to make that work and really not be left in the cold should say what you're seeing in the demo doesn't happen. And so that's
Mhm.
where I think we come in. We are here to be a complement to AI, not a replacement, but also at the same time, I think we are set up where you're going to need that human element to make this a successful piece. I think there's a happy marriage between the two, and that's where we are standing today.
Absolutely,
Um,
100% agree.
so just in closing, with this being the end of January, and just what are some closing takeaways that maybe we want to leave just before closing out this webinar today, and also before wanted to thank everyone for joining us and participating with us today.
Yeah, yeah, these are always fun. And as you said, when you opened up, we're normally talking to thought leaders within the profession and getting different ideas, and it's a lot of fun. And because this topic was so important, on-demand resources, we wanted to just have a webinar and get the information out there. I think some parting thoughts are this: you have a partner in us. It's not too late. There will be time when it's too late, but it's not too late right now. And let's also face it, a lot of the source documents haven't even been received yet, a lot of the governmental documents, which extends our tax season. I'm sure there's people on the call that remember tax season being 3 months or a few, 4 months max. It's not. It's around 8 or 9 months. So again, when do you need support? How do you need support? And we're ready to be able to help our firms with the trust that they've come to know the Unison name for.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Well, and with that, I couldn't agree more, Julie. I think the other piece that I just want to say is there's no sense to wait. We're here to help, even if it's a conversation. You and I are always good at being able to take in, and if it is an immediate need, we could certainly help you there. If it's something that, even if you're just exploring something and then take a breath and then come back for the extension season, we're here for that as well.
Yeah, long-term strategy is really what we want to get across is that consulting. It's not always a plug and chug. It's a consult for the long relationship. I thank everyone that has joined us. If you are looking to get on-demand support, please reach out to Sean or myself directly. Unison Globus website, Unison Globus, or excuse me, Unison, Unison Globus, Globus.com. I'm Julie.Banez, Bonness, at unisonglobus.com. And with me is Sean Morden, Sean, Sean, Morden at unisonglobus.com. Please feel free to check out our website, get with us directly, and we would love to have an opportunity to have a conversation. Stay warm out there, everyone. We appreciate your time and your attention. And more than anything, know that we're rooting for you this tax season and beyond. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Bye bye.